Good evening, everybody. We'll start the session soon.
Good evening. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. A very good evening to one and all present here. I, Sanskriti Gandhi, on the behalf of the core team, would like to extend my heartiest welcome to our chief guest for today, Mr. Mukul Kumar, our respected director, Professor B.B. Ahuja sir, Deputy Director, Professor M.S. Sutavne, Deans and HODs, distinguished guests, faculties, startups, students, and my dear friends. It is a matter of immense pride to be speaking here before you all this evening. We've gathered here today for the valedictory ceremony of the Pune Start-up Fest with the theme Bolstering Innovation, a Blueprint for the Future. It is under the patronage of Startup India, Skill India, Agni, and Ministry of Education's Innovation Cell. We also have collaborations with Sakkar Group as media partners, Amazon Web Services with as a web service partner, TIE Pune, AIC Pinnacle, Pune Management Association, IDO, and Startup India as outreach partners, Pune Open Coffee Club as its ecosystem partner, Wadhwani Foundation, Toastmasters for Pune Entrepreneurs, and Ignite as community partners. Maharashtra State Innovation Society as knowledge partner, Venture Wolf as investment partner, 95 Big FM as radio partner, DU Express, NoFest.com as online media partners, Youth Incorporated as youth media partner, and ED Times as blog partner. A pessimist complains about the wind, an optimist tries to change it, and a leader adjusts the sails. The sails for this particular notion were adjusted by a person who is not just a great motivation for all of us, but also our mentor and someone who gave us the belief to bring this event together. Dr. Madhuri Karnik, ma'am, Faculty Advisor, ESEL. I would now like to take this opportunity to invite her to share with all of us the key highlights of Pune Startup Fest 2021.
A very good evening and warm welcome to everybody present here. Today's chief guest, Mr. Mukul Kumar, co-founder and president engineering at Pubmatic. Our director, Professor B.B. Ahuja, deputy director, Professor Mukul Sutavne, deans, HODs, distinguished guests, my faculty colleagues, participating startups, and student friends. It is really a moment of satisfaction for me to welcome you all to the valedictory ceremony of Pune Start-up Fest 2021. This year, it is conducted on virtual platform for the first time since we started hosting the fest. And I was quite worried about the organization, execution, and response that we get. But I am very happy to tell you that we had in total 86 startups in the exhibition. Out of that, 37 were technology, 7 were agriculture, 8 social startups, 15 student startups, healthcare and lifestyle were 13, and we had 6 innovation startups. We hosted 60 investors and mentors, and some of the investors have shown interest in startups, and the talks are going on. We will come to know about it in a few days. In total, we received 2,200 applications for the startup internships from the students. The total footfall for the expo was around 5,000. This year, we had a new social initiative called Pehchan, in which the motive was to help small scale entrepreneurs who do not get the market exposure very easily, especially women who are selling homemade products. We had 2 such stalls, one from Dilasa Foundation, in which a group of women were selling handmade quilts. The other was from Jnana Prabodhini, and the women had homemade food products. We will be working more rigorously in this area in future. We conducted a few events prior to the fest and a few events during the fest. In pre-fest events, we had Aman Dhattarwal speaking to students about how important it is to be financially independent even when you are a student, and that eventually motivates one to be an entrepreneur. Aman Dhattarwal is an Indian YouTuber, public speaker, influencer, career counselor, and educator. He is also the founder of Apni Kaksha. Aman is well known for his educational and motivational videos. We had Abhi and Niu advising students how to use social media to one's advantage, to reach out to customers and to get feedbacks, and also the disadvantages of social media. Abhiraj and Niyati, more commonly known as Abhi and Niu, are popular content creators who are famous for their series 100 Reasons to Love India, where they traveled across India to find 100 heartwarming stories of change, positivity, and inspiration across India. We also had startup panel discussion elaborating about the difficulties faced by the startups. During the fest, we had Sonakshi Nathani, co-founder and CEO of a very successful startup, Bikai, speaking to students and elaborating them about 5 crucial aspects to have a successful startup. We had investor panel discussion to enlighten the startups and students about how to raise funds and the startups at different stages. A few competitions were also conducted for students during the fest, and they were Bidmaster, Bullrun, Brand Scan, Budget. I'm happy to tell you that all these events were conducted online due to the prevailing situation of pandemic, but they were attended by a huge crowd on an average of 750 to 1000 per event. In few events, even the attendance was more than that. Overall, the fest provided a lot of opportunities to students and startups to know about different aspects of doing business and gave them a chance to interact with members of startup ecosystem. The success of the fest is due to the hard work that was put in by the students of ECEL and especially the core team members. The success is due to the support that we get from our director, deputy director, Gymkhana and Bhau Institute. I must mention that COEP alumni contribute a lot in all the endeavors of students. PSF also receives generous help in terms of cash, guidance, and mentorship. A special mention is due to Mr. Nandakumar Khobre and Pratham Technologies. Successful execution of Fest is a result of cooperation and help that we get from all the administrative departments in the college, deans and HODs of the departments, and most importantly, the help that we get from startup ecosystem in terms of investors, experts, mentors, startups from all corners of the society. In general, the data which we have received till now, it tells us that the response to the fest was quite good. With this, I hand over again to Sanskriti. Thank you very much for the patient listening.
Thank you, ma'am, for sharing the key highlights and motivating us all throughout the process. I now request our director, Professor B.B. Ahuja sir, who has been a relentless support all throughout, to kindly say a few words and address our gathering. Over to you, sir. Sir, you're not audible. Could you please kindly unmute?
Am I audible now?
Yes, sir, you're audible now.
Yeah. I have some bandwidth issue at home currently. I don't know why. So I have switched off my video.
Okay, sir, no problem.
Good evening, one and all. On behalf of College of Engineering, Pune, uh, our collaborators, the Sakal Media Group, and all the other sponsors, on behalf of the faculty, staff, and students, I take this opportunity and privilege to welcome Mr. Mukul Kumar as our chief guest for the Pune Start-up Fest, which is drawing to its close today. As I was reading about Mr. Mukul Kumar, I realized that we are fortunate to have a person in him as our chief guest this evening. He's an IIT alumnus, an alumnus of IIT Kharagpur, and currently the president engineering of Pubmatic. And what a turnaround he has made to the organization that he leads now as one of its co-founders. I was wanting to know more and more about him because he is one person so very passionate about startups, always wanting, eager to help those who want to build a career on their own. Probably he too has gone through his own difficult times, and the experience that he carries today And the message that he has for all of us today, I'm sure is going to inspire each one today. I also got to know that he has 14 patents on systems, storage, data, and so on. Currently working in the domain of data and analytics, and also very passionate about helping budding entrepreneurs. Mukulji, thank you so much for joining us this evening to inspire our students. The Startup Fest is one of the activities at College of Engineering, Pune, where we try to encourage students to look at startups and provide jobs to others. This Pune Start-up Fest is open to one and all, though it is organized by College of Engineering, Pune. We are in the third year of the Pune Start-up Fest. And as we heard a little while ago from our very dynamic and able faculty advisor, Dr. Mrs. Madhuri Karnik, that we had a footfall of about 5,000 visitors. So despite what the pandemic has to present to us, she and the student volunteers braved it all of not letting go the Pune Startup Fest 2021 and making it happen in the virtual mode. We also just heard from her that there were about 80 plus startups, and there were investors to look at these startups. The Startup Fest provides a platform to the students to showcase their talent, their innovative ideas, their products and services. It gives them an opportunity to meet up with the mentors, with the investors. And the ecosystem today is quite different from what it was when you would have contributed and made your beginning with your own startup. So today the ecosystem provides for incubation space. We have a Bhau Institute of Innovation, Entrepreneurship and Leadership, which has currently about 75 startups being incubated. We have mentors coming into the Bhau Institute to support each of these startups. We have investors coming in to look at each one of these startups and grow these startups. So today, the country, the environment is conducive to having more and more entrepreneurs in the country. But these entrepreneurs need role models, and they are fortunate to have in you a role model today, to speak to them, to inspire them, to tell them what it means to become an entrepreneur today, to tell them how not to fail. In fact, in life, there are no failures, there are only experiences. And who better than you, Mr. Mukul Kumarji, can explain to them that they have to dare and bear and go ahead with starting a venture of their own. It's not all about money. Money is something that will follow. What we need today is the will to do something. And these young boys and girls today who have dared to look at startups, have been a part of the Pune Start-up Fest, need a word of encouragement and advice from you. Mukulji, we thank you. Being a Sunday, you have found time for us to speak to these budding entrepreneurs. We appreciate your contribution and we thank you for being here with us this evening. I would also take this opportunity to convey our gratitude to our sponsors and collaborators for making Pune Startup Fest 2021 a possible event. Also, to all the student volunteers who have toiled, it's so very difficult in these times to ensure everyone is on the portal, to ensure that we always have maintained digital connectivity and each one of us is connected. There are no glitches whatsoever. And each one of these students has worked hard, collaborated with one another to make sure this event is a success. And the leader behind this success, Dr. Mrs. Madhuri Karnik, and of course others, Swapnil Mali, Rahul Adhao, Sunil Mane, all of them, the others, my colleagues, they have also contributed, Mr. Satish Kumbar. Each one of them has contributed to make this Pune Startup Fest 2021 a grand success. So I also take this opportunity to thank my colleagues for such a wonderful contribution. And once again, Mukulji, we welcome you to this Pune Startup Fest 2021 as our chief guest and look forward to your words of wisdom to enlighten us with your thoughts and inspire the participants who have joined on this virtual meet today. Thank you. Thank you, one and all. Over to you, Sanskriti.
Thank you, sir, for your kind and motivating words and for leading us at all the times. Our chief guest for today, Mr. Mukul Kumar, is one of the co-founders and managing directors of Pubmatic. As the president of Pubmatic's engineering organization, Sir is responsible for ensuring that Pubmatic's product vision is realized through excellence in execution and helping to drive the company's continued product innovation. A graduate from IIT Kharagpur with a degree in electrical engineering, Sir has filed for 14 patents in system software, storage software, and application software, and proudly proclaims his love for Pi and his ability to recite it up to 60 digits. Prior to co-founding Pubmatic, Sir has served as senior manager at Veritas India, following which he was the director at Panta Systems, a high-performing computing startup. He's profoundly passionate about startups and entrepreneurship. He regularly takes popular startup conferences and advises budding entrepreneurs. He has a vast study and knowledge in various subjects, including online programmatic advertising, machine learning, highly scalable and available server infrastructure, storage and enterprise software, development center, infrastructure, and many more. Sir, we are extremely honored to have you with us today. I request you to address the gathering. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much for the warm welcome. I'm delighted to be here. Thank you, Ahuja sir, and thank you, Madhuri madam, for inviting me here. I'm really honored to be here in front of the team at COEP Pune. Also, it's exciting to hear about so many different ideas and so many, startups that are coming up in the expo and so much investor interest. So it's the right forum for this kind of discussion. Can you just confirm if you can hear me okay? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, you're
Yes,
audible.
yes, very well.
Okay, excellent. Great. So thank you. I mean, I think it's been a great journey with Pubmatic. I want to talk today. I want to take you through some of my startup journey, some of the lessons that I've learned through the journey, and some advice for the enthusiastic youth that we have here in terms of how do you take your startup journey, how do you take that forward, and how do you handle the challenges that might come in the way. So let me jump in, and then I thought that if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer them now or later via email. Let me jump in. I met my co-founders back in 2006, and that's the year when I founded Pubmatic. We discussed the idea of optimizing ads, online ads, and we thought that it'll help publishers, and we thought it was a good idea. We decided we would do it. I started in my 3-bedroom apartment in Pune, in Aund, 2006, 14 years ago, 14 and a half years ago. And I remember the day we started developing the code right away. We bought 2 laptops, and then we started writing the code right away, myself and my other co-founder. And in 3 months, we were ready with our alpha, which we were ready to, for a customer to try it out. So we had a customer who used our software, who was ready to use our software. And I remember serving that customer, and I used to serve those ads. We used to have our, ad server serve those ads. And I used to watch the ads as they were served. I used to look at the log file. I used to tail the log file, and I used to see the log file showing the ads being served. And I remember the first time I saw 1,000 ad impressions being served in a day. 1,000 ad impressions served in a day. Today, we are serving more than 134 billion ad impressions in a day. So that's a pretty significant growth in volume in the last 14 plus years. That's 100 million times scale up in the last 14 years. So pretty interesting journey of scaling the software, scaling the business, scaling our customers. I'd like to take you through that. We definitely had our initial challenges of bootstrapping and starting up. I can talk about a couple of those. As you might have heard, I'm a very technical person, so I would I'll talk more about the technology a little bit, maybe not so much about the business challenges. So it was, one of the key challenges is definitely scaling the software. It was the most intellectually challenging work from an engineering perspective. If you look at 100 million times scaled up, the key thing was to keep innovating and never accept no for an answer. So I'll take you through that in terms of what does it mean not accepting no for an answer. I remember the time when the first ad server that we wrote was written in Java language. And while it was, really well written, it was slow. It was not responding, as fast as we would like it to be. It was also consuming a lot of memory. So we spent several days troubleshooting the application. I remember I used to stay awake the whole night. I used to work through nights and days without sleeping, and we worked through that. We tried to fix the speed problems and also the memory problems. We could get it up about 3 or 4 times faster and less memory consuming, but we were not happy with our outcome. So we one fine night we brainstormed for several hours, and 2 nights later we got this ad server that was performing 10 times improved performance, so 10 times faster and 10 times less memory. We rewrote the entire ad server in C language in 48 hours. We worked through the entire 48 hours, no sleep, and we rewrote. So that was, I guess, the first example of perseverance and not taking no for an answer. We could have, taken that Java is the way to go, and we're going to stay with that. But then we brainstorm and we rewrote the ad server, and it is still running in some form. Obviously, we have done a lot of enhancement in the past 14 years, but it is running right now. And yeah, so that was one great first victory in a way. I also remember very long ago, when we started, I think in the first year, we talked to a few industry experts. We were not the first to do ad tech. There were other people who had done ad tech before us, right? And there were people who had 5 years or 8 years experience in this kind of technology, either scalable, web architecture or ad tech. And we took advice from a few industry experts in the US. And I clearly remember in those meetings that at least two of them said that this cannot be done. You cannot achieve the kind of performance and low latency that you need in the kind of ad serving and bidding platform that you're trying to build. The vision that we had in terms of the bidding that we would do, they said it cannot be done. An example was, real-time bidding, which has to be served in 180 milliseconds or 200 milliseconds before somebody loads a page, and the ad server taking less than 2 milliseconds to process its entire uh, processing and looking up hundreds of data points from multiple databases. So they said it cannot be done. Stop doing that, move on, try something else, right? And what we said, myself and my co-founder, that I would prove you wrong. I will make it happen. We didn't take no for an answer. We said that I will find a way to make it happen. And every time we found a difficult technical challenge, we would do the same. We saw multiple such challenges and we did the same. We took it as a challenge and we said that, let me prove him wrong. Let me do it for him. And we did that. We continued doing that. We are still doing that, and we built a platform that is extremely scalable, very high performance, and very low latency. We proved them wrong. Didn't take no for an answer. I have another story which is interesting. I have lots of stories, but I'll talk to you about a couple of those. On another occasion, we built the alpha software. So that was like in 3 months. Like I said, we built the alpha software and we were ready to go. We use an API provided by a very large company in this space, in the web space. We used what is called the sandbox API for building our software and testing it, right? With less than a week to go for the launch, we approached this large software company to give us access to the production API, right? You would need the production API to go live. We had a 3-hour long call. I remember that. I actually exactly remember that call from taking the call from my home. It started at 10 p.m. and completed at 1 a.m. And at the end of the call, they said they are not going to give us the API access, right? So it was like 3 months of really hard labor, working through nights and days. So we were shocked. We were shocked beyond words. We were kind of crying, right? Because it meant the end of our dreams. That API was required to get this entire software working, and it was the end of all the hard work that we put. We did not sleep, obviously. We discussed it overnight, and at about 5 a.m. I remember about 5 a.m. We came up with an idea. We found a way for our application to work without that API. So there were like lots of different ideas that we brainstormed in the night. And then we came up with an idea that does not need a API. And we started working on that. It took us less than a day to implement that without the API. And our dreams lived, right? We did not take no for an answer. Our dreams lived, and we are here because that night we persevered through not taking no for an answer, and then building an alternate. So you'll see a lot of difficulties in your ideas, implementing your vision, your dreams. And what is really important is that you keep working and don't take no for an answer. If you have confidence in yourself, you will build anything, and your dreams will come true. Couple of learnings and key thoughts from these stories. One thing is to have very sharp focus on what you are trying to do, a heavy bias for action, actually doing it. And then of course the third one, keeping the customer first, taking feedback from the customer. And I'll talk about that a little later too. you'll need to develop your product. In our case, it was a code. Quickly, you need to iterate in hours rather than days. So remember, we used to sit with a new idea and we would come up with the implementation in 3 hours or 2 hours or 4 hours or 6 hours. uh, it is important to have a deep clarity and focus on what you want to build. The reason I'm saying that, I'm repeating that, is there's a lot of new ideas that keep coming. Then you know what, you can do this, you can do that. There might be some crisis or there might be some difficulties which will show you some other ideas. But I think it's really important to keep your focus on your main vision. It is, some other friend might come up with some other idea, or some other friend might be implementing something else, and you might think that, you know what, I like that better. I like the progress that the other person is doing. So don't, try not to get too diverted. The focus is really important. We kept our focus for 14 years for our IPO to happen. Our IPO happened in December of 2020. So it was really important to keep that focus, and basically being aligned to your vision, right? A few other thoughts, that I like to, advise, or I usually give advice on, is it's definitely very important to keep building great innovative products and have a strong bias for action. Each one of you is building a great innovative product. It's important to keep your focus on what the customer problem is. So it's really important to understand what the customer wants, what is the use case that they want resolved. um, eh, Important to keep your, innovation on solving the customer problem, understanding the use cases, the customer segments that you're trying to address, the specific domains that you're trying to address. So I think that focus is really important. Also, innovation not does not always mean that you are inventing something new, but it could also mean a faster way of doing something, or a better way of doing something, or a different process of doing something. Yeah, at Pubmatic, we have been doing several hackathons, and we have used that as a part of building innovation here at Pubmatic. Um, in addition to like building scale, which we have done at Pubmatic, it is also important for us. It was really also important to build a high performance platform. So that's another key thing that you can innovate on, or you can think through, how can I improve the performance of something by 10x or like 100x, right? Which could be a totally different ball game. Like thinking about, how what the chip industry went through like 20-25 years ago, squeezing many more transistors in smaller space. So that was another, degree or level of innovation, where you're able to fit more transistors into smaller space. We also, focused on building highly resilient infrastructure, and infrastructure that would not fail, even if, certain systems start to fail, like internet starts to go down, or certain servers or disks start to fail. So that was another thing that we have innovated in, and several other companies have innovated in. So that's really important to think about innovation from different aspects, right? The other thing which I want to really talk about is, it is really important to get customer feedback early on. Uh, what you're building has to really fit customers' needs. Uh, So test your ideas with customers. Your initial customers would be your friends, your friends from COEP, your parents, or your close circle. So get as much customer feedback as possible. That's really key to understand what they are liking, what they're not liking. Your product roadmap, or what you want to do, should depend partly on the customer feedback, and then more on your vision on where you want to go, like 1 year, 2 year, 5 years from here. What does your vision say? How do you see it evolving? How do you see the market evolving in the next several years? I talked about focus and clarity of thought, not getting diverted by things which are other than your key focus or your key vision area. if you're thinking of your top 10 priorities, one way to think about it is actually the bottom 5 are stopping you to achieve the top 5. So you really need to think about what are your top priorities in doing your um, building your product or building your startup. What are your top priorities? Because it is entirely possible that you have a big list of priorities and the bottom 50% or the bottom 75% is stopping you to actually achieve the top 5 priorities of yours. It's a really important aspect of what is called ruthless prioritization. I call it ruthless prioritization, where you got to prioritize what you want to do, what you want to build, what feedback do you want to take, and what are the ones that you want to ignore. It requires a lot of thinking and forward thinking. um, it's also really important to identify the problem in the customer segment. I touched on that a little bit. And then not go too wide. We had situations where there were ideas that, what, Mukul, you can try this, there's something else you can try, giving a different format of ads, or trying ads on a different medium which was not that popular, or giving ads on SMS and things like that. So there's constantly, we are being bombarded with a lot of different things that can be done. But it requires wisdom to really decide that these are the 3 things that I want to focus on, and these are the 7 that I'm going to say, that I'm going to pass right now. I'm going to take a look at it at a later point. And obviously, that decision has to be data driven. So it should not be driven by, and I'll come to that a little bit in my next point. The decision should be data driven. It should not be based on gut feeling or subjectivity, but more like, okay, this is the market, this is the market size, this is how it is growing, and this is why I think that I will stay in this domain rather than that. The other one that maybe I'll talk about it now is when you're building your business, when you have some traction in your business. Business metrics are very important, right? And this is when, let's say, you start acquiring customers or you start building the business. So it's really important to have the metrics. There could be a various different types of metrics. Basically, a metric is a way to measure the success of your business, right? uh, so you want to make sure that you get better at metrics. If you're not measuring, then you don't know if you're making progress. So it's very important to measure, and it will also tell you if you're directionally going in the right direction or you are diverting in some other direction, right? So examples of metrics, like I said, are number of users, could be revenue, it could be gross profit, volume of orders, CPA, which is cost per acquisition, engagement, click-through rate, average order value, multiple things, customer retention. And as you mature, as the business matures, the metrics will also mature. But I feel it's really important that um, that you keep the metrics very clear. And it's okay to change the metrics, but it is really important to keep them in front of you. Keep close eye on them, keep monitoring them periodically, like monthly, weekly, or daily. Am I moving in the right direction, or am I going 20 degree or 45 degrees towards a different direction? And if you do think um, that you're going in a different direction, then you need to take a look back, that what do I need to do to get the direction right, right? Metrics, like I said, are a way to quantify things. It keeps away the subjectivity, right? So it could be something that is making you happy. So like some new area of development makes you happy, makes you feel good, but what you decided as your key metrics, such as revenue growth or growth of gross profit, you want to make sure that are you actually moving the needle, and moving the needle in the right direction. Like I said, it's okay to change the metrics. If you want to do that, you know feel free to do that. but then measurement is really important. And at PubMatic, we take that very carefully, and we have been doing that for, I think, the last 12, 13 years since we started. Actually, I think we looked at metrics even when we launched. We launched in what was called TechCrunch 50. That was in year 2007. There was an event in California where we launched along with 50 other startups, right? So we were, I remember we were awake the night, most of the night, and we checked how many new users are coming. Great. So I think last 2 points, which are again important, and uh, one is, take advice from fellow and senior entrepreneurs and friends, right? It is, never hesitate to ask questions, right? Keep asking questions. Even if you know a little bit about something, you keep asking, uh, to find more details, to find better ways of solving problems. A lot of problems can be solved when you're talking or brainstorming with other people, where they may have either solved it, or they may have solved it in a different domain. Like for example, I'm solving it in ad tech domain, and somebody may have solved it in fintech, or in even in some like storage domain, or system software domain. So they might be able to tell me, what, Mukul, have you tried this? So I've seen that uh, people sometimes hesitate asking questions. Do not ever do that. Do not hesitate asking questions. Go out, reach out. Most people, even who are very senior, they are very ready to kind of come on a call, for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, brainstorm on a problem, provide some ideas on how you can solve a problem. And as students, you have a lot of learning opportunities, so definitely use them. There's a lot of material available, as I'm sure you know better than me, which is available free on the internet. So I'll highly encourage to learn new things. Definitely, learning coding is an important aspect. Learning a couple of languages, learning a couple of areas that are really popular and actually used across the board in software are machine learning and data analytics. So definitely, those are a couple of areas that it'll be helpful to get deeper into, right? And of course, one important thing is really to understand what your passion is, what you really like doing, right? So go deeper into that. If you are into, car modeling, or if you are into gaming, or if you are into, something else like fintech or some ideas in education, then go after that. Go deeper into that. Build some domain expertise, deep domain expertise, right? It could be, something around, gaming, or it could be something around e-commerce, or it could be something around fintech. So build some domain expertise. That's really important, to understand what kind of problems are there, what kind of use cases are there. Talk to a few people to understand those problems. Read, there's a lot available on the internet. So I would definitely highly encourage you to do a lot of reading, do a lot of talking. Talk to, I think people are more accessible now over Zoom and video conferences. So feel free to reach out to people, ask questions, and learn more. So yeah, I think that's probably all that I have. I definitely hope that I definitely feel that we'll have a lot more startups in Pune. We have a bunch. I hope that there'll be a lot more, and then we will be building a lot more unicorns out of Pune. Thank you. I think that's all that I have. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Like you shared, the way you kept persevering to develop the best technology for your company and did not take no as an answer is very inspiring for all us students and budding entrepreneurs. Thank you so much for sharing your experience and snippets from your life.
Truly inspiring, Mukulji, truly inspiring. You never
Thank
took
you,
no
Agnes
for
sir.
an answer, welcomed all the challenges, were innovative in your approach, whether it was inventing something new or finding a faster solution or a different solution to the problem. You said it all, and I think that experience counts. Thank you so much for inspiring each one of us this evening. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir. Primarily being an entrepreneurship club, we promote the spirit of innovation by hosting a set of competitions that provide a platform for budding entrepreneurs to showcase their talents. Now, we would like to proceed to one of the most awaited parts of tonight, announcement of winners of various events conducted throughout PSF. Winners for business planning competition sponsored by Bhagat Patil. First winner, Anjali Nair. Second position, Priyanka Singh. Idea competition was sponsored by Bhagat Patil. Winners for it are Anjali Nair with the first position and Lavdeep Raina securing second position. Winners for events. Bidmaster. Samyak Dhone is the first has secured the first prize and the prize is sponsored by Deepak Pathak. Second position is secured by Venkatesh Kadam and the prize is sponsored by Mekatech Industries Private Limited. The third position is secured by Aryan Khose and the prize again is sponsored by Metatech Industries Private Limited. Now we move on to Bull Run. The first prize is secured by Vaibhav Khating, sponsored by Anil Patil. The second position is secured by Vineet Shinde, and the prize is sponsored by Deepak Thomre. The third position is secured by Pratham Jain, and the prize is sponsored by Rajakumar Dahake. We move on towards next event, Brand Scan. The first position is secured by Tanusha Chidarwar and the prize is sponsored by Utkarsh Kushwa. The second position is secured by Prathamesh Chandle and the prize is sponsored by Alok Joshi. The third position is secured by Ram Kandalkar with the prize sponsored by Samarth Kahire. We move on towards the next event, that is Budget. The first position is secured by Rugved Narmade and the prize is sponsored by Vasant Kulaikini. The second position secured by Mandar Menzoge and the prize is sponsored by Sunil Fulpagar. The third position secured by Sainath Wadekar and the prize is sponsored by Prathamesh Deshpande. The next event is Biz Trivia. Here, the first prize is won by Ram Kandalkar, which was sponsored by Prasad Gosavi. The second position is secured by Tejas Deshmukh, and the prize was sponsored by Prasad Gosavi. The third position secured by Karan Agarwal, and the prize sponsored by Anil Mahan. Next event is BizMe. Here, the first position is secured by Srushti Chidarwar and the prize is sponsored by Vijay Dongre. And the second position is secured by Anurag Mahendra Zadhav and the prize is sponsored by Vijay Dongre. Now, we move towards the winners for various startup zones in the fest. First, Best Technical Startup, Bolstart and Stutter Stream, out of which the first one is sponsored by PSF 19 core team. The second prize is for Best Student Startup, which is secured by SAP Products. The third prize for the Best Social Startup is secured by Pustakwala. The next, that is the Best Agricultural Startup, is won by Crop Easy. The Best Health and Lifestyle Startup is secured by We Invent Startup. The sixth and the last one, that is the Best Innovative Idea, is secured by Super User Friendly Screwdriver. Once again, I would like to take this opportunity to thank all the participants and to congratulate all our winners for the various events. Now, I would like to call upon our Secretary of House ESIL, Krishna Watt, to propose the vote of thanks and also for the core team introduction. Over to you, Krishna.
Good evening, everyone. Honorable Director B.B. Ahuja sir, Deputy Director Professor M.S. Sutavne, Chief Guest of the ceremony Mr. Mukul Kumar, all the deans and HODs, faculties, Gymkhana, the support staff, and all my dear friends. Myself, Krishna Watt, Secretary of Pune Start-up Fest 21, take this moment of immense pride to present all of you an overview of the third edition of Pune Start-up Fest and express my sincere gratitude to all the contributors. Since an inception, Pune Startup Fest has always been an aggressor in boosting the startup community and fostering the never-ending culture of innovation. During the challenging times, when the face of the world was replicated on the computer screen, we too believed that the innovation is the driving force to solve all the world problems. With the similar belief, Pune Startup Fest 21 was immense under the theme of bolstering innovations, a blueprint for the future. Under the patronage of Startup India, Skill India, Ministry of Education's Innovation Cell, and Agni, the first ever virtual edition of Pune Startup Fest had 100 plus startups combined from different zones. The zones being technical, social, healthcare, lifestyle, agriculture, student startups, and innovation. A two-day expo was all set up live on the hybrid 3D platform ExpoSim, where the visitors witnessed these startups' virtual booths. 55 plus investors and mentors were invited for interacting with the exhibiting startups and mentor them to uplift. Apart from the expo, keynote sessions and panel discussions added to the glory of the fest. Top influencer Aman Dhattarwal, content creator duo Abhi and Niu, Miss Manners Paula Maglen, LinkedIn master person Sam Baisla, and CEO of Bikai, Ms. Sonakshi Nathani, graced the PSF. PSF 21 was inaugurated in the esteemed presence of Mr. Harsh Mariwala, Chairman, Marico Industries, and Mrs. Mrunal Pawar, Director, Sakal Media Group. A set of business events, including quizzing, trading, and auctioning, were conducted successfully. All the events, competitions, keynotes, panel discussions, and the exhibition being completely set up online saw a footfall of more than 10,000 people, which speaks volume of its success. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to our constant mentor and source of guidance, Director B.B. Ahuja sir, for readily helping us with whatever we needed in the chaotic times. I thank our Deputy Director, M.S. Sutavne sir, for your constant support. I'd extend my gratitude to Dean Student Affairs, P.R. Dhamangaonkar sir, for guiding and mentoring us throughout the process. I also thank Dr. Bhavikatti ma'am, VP Gymkhana, and Gosavi sir for constantly being there and helping us throughout. I'd like to express my gratitude to Dr. Vijay Talele sir, CEO of How Institute, for being our mentor and always providing us the valuable help. I express my regards to all our sponsors, partners, associations, media collaborations, and all our supporters to grace the fest and make it reach to altogether a different level. I pay my sincere regards to all the alumni who helped us in uplifting the fest. Your support is priceless to us. I heartily thank Team ExpoSim, especially Vikas, Mohit, and Maz. I thank you for developing such an amazing and realistic platform and make the expo go so smooth. I pay my sincere gratitude to our faculty advisors, Madhuri Karnik ma'am and Rahul Adav sir, our constant pillar of support. I thank you both for giving us this opportunity and being that unstoppable force of guidance, sheer motivation, and perfect leadership. I'd like to thank all the IIC members, Swapnil Mali sir, Abhishek More sir, Prakash Chandore sir, for always being there with us and never letting the workforce fall short. I'd like to thank the data center team for making the online setup so smooth and handy for the organizers as well as the audience. The unfortunate circumstances have kept most of us away from the campus. But your constant presence here never let any of us feel incomplete of a team present. Last but not the least, the PSF team, a troop of 19 that battled all the hurdles and tackled all possible challenges to make PSF happen on this scale. The entire team of PSF 21 made sure that there is no stone unturned in bolstering innovations and making the fest an exemplary success. The team, distanced by the corona barrier, yet glued together by relentless determination, has busted the myth that online fests and online events are boring. No, it's not true anymore. Introducing you all to the core team of Pune Start-up Fest, the commanders who paved the way for this successful accomplishment. I request you all to turn your videos and introduce yourself.
Hello everyone, I'm Pranav Sadavarte from Events and Networking.
Sakshi, you are not audible. Can you please unmute and introduce yourself?
Hello everyone, I'm Sakshi Patil, leading events and networking.
Hello everyone, this is Kunal Gurjar, the head of investor relations at PSF21. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Sanskriti Gandhi, heading investor relations. Thank you.
Hi everyone, this is Anjali Nair, Head of Public Relations.
Hi everyone, this is Karthike Dubey, Head of Finance.
Bhagyesh, you were muted. Can you please unmute?
Hello everyone, I am Bhagyesh Sakla, Finance Head for PSF21.
Hello everyone, I am Kushal Lahoti, Alumni Outreach Head for PSF21.
Hello everyone, I'm Radhika Kandu, Alumni Outreach Head for PSF21.
Hello everyone, I'm Praveen Margale, Marketing Head at Pune Start-up Fest.
Hello everyone, I am Pawan Bang, Marketing Head at Pune Start-up Fest.
Hello everyone, I'm Dahuda, Accounts and Documentation Head at Pune Start-up Fest. Thank you.
Good evening to one and all. I am Dhanashri, Documentation Head, Pune Start-up Fest 21.
Hello everyone, I am Viren Patil, the web head for PSF21.
Hello everyone, Nirmik Wankhade, Media at PSF21.
Hello everyone, I am Vasvi Gupta, Design Head for PSF21.
Hello everyone, I am Rishikesh Gerde, Design Head for PSF21.
Hello everyone, I am Swaraj Bambal, Operations Head for PSF21.
Thank you, guys. I'm extremely thankful to all our audience and friends. Time and time again, you have been our constant pillar of support, and you have proved that you are one of the undisputed reasons for the huge successful conduction of PSF always. I express my gratitude and delight for being with us always. With this, I formally declare that PSF 21 has been successfully concluded. We promise to deliver these experiences and fulfilling entrepreneurial endeavors throughout the means we come across in the life ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Krishna and team. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, team. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Mukulji, for your inspiring words. Thank you. We are indebted to you. Thank you.
I'm humbled. I'm delighted. It was a delight to talk to so many people. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. True inspiration. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for your constant support and being here with us.
Thank you, Madhuri ma'am. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Thank you. We'll sign out now.
Yes, sir. एक minute. काय करायचं? Sign off करा. Yes, sir. You can sign off.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you
Thank
all.
you everybody for being here and making this event a success. Thanks a lot. Leave करायचं ना?